Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came home.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Jerry Springer.
Wow. It gets better every day. Yeah.
They like you tonight, Jerry.
They have no taste.
None at all.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Matt Catfish Williams is running for city council.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Ludlow.
Should he buy, you know what? Why doesn't, with your financial plan, why isn't he
Get the
buying
financial sales.
ads on our podcast?
Hadn't
Well, you
really
know
thought
what?
I
about that.
just thought of that.
As they say uptown, it would be no skin off his because you're going to fund his entire campaign anyway.
That's right.
And driving in here today, I saw
Yeah,
What difference does
true.
it make?
Yeah.
So when I
Vote
walked
for
in,
Catfish. Yeah.
Jerry and I walked in, and Jerry walked over to. And if you got to come here if you're traveling anywhere through the Midwest, you've got to come to Ludlow, Kentucky.
Absolutely.
For a whole bunch of reasons. It's such a cool place. Going through this wonderful Renaissance little village on the river, and the Folk School Coffee Parlor is this cool little coffee shop. So Jerry walks in and he says to Catfish, who is running, on the ballot it says Matt Catfish Williams. So I'm thinking he's going to win just because he's got a name Catfish,
who
and
couldn't
people
vote
will
for
remember
Catfish?
it, and they'll
Exactly.
like that nickname. So Jerry said to Cat, hey, I forgot to bring a check, but I'll write a donation to his campaign. You do that all over the place. And God bless Jerry Springer, Democrats. He helps Democrats all over the country.
Oh, let's
from
not-
the highest to the
we're
lowest.
gonna get more
Well,
calls.
let's don't get more calls.
Thanks, Gene. Oh,
Tell
yeah.
you what, that's a
Be
friend.
sure to give me a call.
That's a good
I'll
friend.
be up till about 11:30 tonight.
I love nothing better than giving
And
away
I won't
money.
fill this in, but after the conversation we just had walking in here,
Yeah,
right?
oh,
Jerry?
that's right.
So anyway, Jerry says, I'll give you a donation. That's good. And so I said to Kat after that conversation, what's the limit? Because those of us who've been in politics forever know that usually there's some statutory limit
There better be a limit.
so that you can't buy elections. So I says, what's the limit? And he says, I really don't know, but what I need to run the whole campaign is $200. So we got it.
Finish. That's it.
It's on Springer.
I love it.
Really?
It's true.
$200.
You should have
run
run
earlier.
standing right there. Yeah, he should have run for an office that had at least a $400 limit.
$200 limit.
And I was going to donate. I don't have to now.
Yeah.
That's also
So,
part of the
'cause it's a
financial
limit.
plan.
Yes, in the plan.
How are you going to spend that all at once? Have the Koch brothers got in touch with you?
Matt
He's
doesn't
not
have a
on
mic.
but
Right.
you know, he'll do
Yeah.
yard signs and stuff.
They'll be yard.
I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to ask you something.
Yes.
I remember when we and Megan, you may recall this too, when we were in school, and we all three got in a lot of trouble in school in our respective
I
schools.
did not.
Yeah.
I did not. I was very well behaved in school.
Huh.
Why do you both look shocked?
I
No, I was a very
knew that
good
you did.
student.
I knew you
Yeah.
did. And,
I always got in trouble for talking.
I believe that. Yeah, okay, I did.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So, did you told me something the other day that I thought was really interesting. So you went into a school recently, and
Yes.
if you'll please tell the
Oh,
circumstances
right.
where all that school guilt came flooding back.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This is an absolutely true story. Our grandson, and this was a couple of years ago, 2-3 years at most, probably around 2 years ago. He was not yet in the first grade, and it was kindergarten, and we watched Gunsmoke together. You know, the old Western. When I was a kid, Gunsmoke was on. It was on for 20 years. And so he and I, he dressed up in his cowboy outfit, and we sit there in front of the television and watch the Gunsmoke. And, compared to today's television, it's really tame. And then we would, wrestle on the bed and, pillow fight and all that kind of thing. And while we're doing it, I'm trying to remember the things that the old cowboy said. And so while I'm wrestling with him, I'd say, I'm going to beat you like a rented mule.
Oh, no, this is not going to end well.
No. So, and he's laughing.
no.
He just
He's like a
thinks that's-
parrot, He
But
hears
I don't even know what it meant. I just remember, cowboys talking like that. I'm going to beat you like a rented mule. Well,
Oh, no.
Now it's about a month later. Katie, our daughter, sends me an email that she got from Richard's teacher. I'm not going to mention the name. And the teacher writes, I just wanted you to know that today in class, Richard got into an argument with one of the kids, and he said, I'm going to beat you like a rented mule. I took Richard aside. I'm trying to remember this, but I took Richard aside and said, you can't say things like that. Where did you hear it? So Richard, of course, says, well, that's what Opa says.
Oh, no.
So she explains, she says in this letter, so I explained to him there's some things that grown-ups say that children shouldn't, but I explained to him that that was not even, quote, remotely appropriate.
But honestly.
And then she ends the email, I just thought you ought to know. So Katie, our daughter, passes the email on to me. You know, just not even remotely appropriate. She could have said, you know, it's not appropriate. No, it's not even remotely appropriate. Well, now, Mickey, you know, my wife explains to me, well, Jer, understand, you've done several things wrong. First of all, what are you doing saying you're beating anybody?
Right.
So that was wrong. Then, the animal lovers, you're ticking them off, you're beating a mule, and then you're showing what a rich snob you are because it's a rented mule.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, you know, and finally, you know, as usual, Mickey's right, and yeah, that was inappropriate. And so I explained to Richard then, I said, honey, you know, we were joking around. I shouldn't have said that. We can't say that. That is wrong. You know, that's bad. Don't say that. So now we'll be sitting having dinner around the table or whatever, and every once in a while, Richard, this is true, he will suddenly stand up, you know, from his chair and come around to where I'm sitting, and he'll whisper in my ear. He'll go, Opa? And I say, yes, honey. And he goes, rented mule. He thinks that's a dirty word. God love it. Isn't that great? Anyway, so they had, now he's in the second grade. God love him, he's doing great in school. And they have, you know, the open school night where parents and open house where parents and grandparents come, and all the teachers get up there and they say what they're doing in the school, and it's a wonderful school, everything's going great. But then one of the teachers that gets up there is that teacher, and she starts talking, and honestly, I got all kind of tight in the chest, like I was going to be scolded. Yeah. Like I sat there the whole time.
Hit your head down.
And Mickey's looking at me going, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's
so,
awesome.
So it's, you never, when a teacher scolds you, you never get over it.
And let's be honest, he could have had a lot worse to say with Jerry Springer as a grandpa.
Oh,
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking this is a really positive thing.
He thinks I'm an insurance salesman. I don't tell him.
Let's keep it that way.
You know, it's funny on that point. After we did a show one night, we went, you recall, Jerry and Megan, to where my wife was teaching
Oh, yeah.
a dance class.
Just a couple
my
weeks
wife's
ago.
a lifelong dance teacher. And we went in, and the kids came over, and my granddaughter, who was in the class, knew who Jerry was, sort of like Uncle Jerry. And the other kids were like, who is he? And he's a TV star. And I'm like, I don't know who he is. Well, of course, your parents don't let you watch that.
That's because your parents are doing their
I had no
jobs.
idea. It was like being in Cuba again. I don't know who this guy is.
Like the kids next door.
Yeah. They do
Now
know.
they know you.
Oh, that's crazy.
And when a little kid says, "Oh, I love your show," you want to say, "Who are your parents?"
Yeah.
You're going to get reported.
This can't be good for society.
No, this is not. But speaking of the show, and then we'll quit it. Tomorrow, well, as we're recording this now, tomorrow, which is September 21st, exactly 25 years ago tomorrow, is when we taped our first show.
No kidding.
Amazing.
Wow.
25 years of the Jerry Springer.
What I have done for America.
It's
Yeah.
thorough and complete, sir.
It's real. It's just horrible.
It really is not good.
Well, when they what do you call it? Hacked Colin Powell's emails. I'm in the emails.
No, you're
I
not.
swear to
Oh,
God. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He said Trump is, he said,
Oh, that was the email. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that it was.
that's what's being hacked. That's the national security thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was hacked because he had said that Donald Trump is a national disgrace, and something about he's,
Not
you know,
unlike.
he's becoming Jerry Springer or whatever. And I want to say, that's the show, Colin.
Come on now. He's a really nice guy once you get to know him.
It's amazing.
But I got something to say to Colin. No. Actually, I do, but we'll save that for... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it made me think of Rolls Royces. And I was
The
thinking-
master of the segue.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking of Rolls Royces, and I was thinking,
Yeah.
Meg,
What happened?
what's the difference between a Rolls Royce and a porcupine?
I don't
The
know.
difference is, with
Oh.
a porcupine, all the pricks are on the outside.
You finally got one. That was excellent.
We got that off the internet.
You got, yeah.
That's actually BMWs. I switched it over.
Pricks are on the outside.
You got one of those. No, that's.
You should have said
Hey,
Bentley.
mentally, whatever.
boy, if I could cuss,
Yeah.
you know, maybe I'm gonna cuss, and David could just bleep it out. You know,
We could do that.
because I just want to say.
Oh, really? Well, let's just do the whole show then.
Looking around at the ages
Well, then,
of the people.
let's do it.
Are you, how old are you? He's good.
Okay. I'm old enough.
Fuck the Guinness Book of Records.
Oh, no! No!
Yeah.
No, they said no.
That's how I feel.
They still say no?
Yeah, they're
Did
still
you go
saying
back
no.
and appeal?
I did. I went
To the
back and
appellate
appealed.
board of-
Tried to the appellate board of stupid
Guinness.
world records.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
and
geez,
yet
I'm so
the
sorry.
unlimited mileage project keeps
Yeah.
growing and growing with support and enthusiasm. It's like
From
I
who?
was gonna
coming
say,
over the walls.
Who are
on
these
it.
people, Mr.
Oh, it's
Galvin?
just unbelievable. I was thinking, I wonder if it would fit. And I guess the answer is yes, because I'm making the rules. It's my concept. Is could I have a conjugal visit from my wife during that week?
No.
No. Okay, well, that's just something I was wondering.
Totally breaks the
Not
whole
with-
thing.
Funny, she said the same thing.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Well,
I got
not
your
with
back,
two
Bonnie.
other people in the car.
I put a curtain up. I don't know. No, come on.
I had
Have people seen your car?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a
rental.
good... Oh, yeah, it's a rental. That's right.
Hey, Megan, can we ask you something? Jerry and I were wondering.
Oh, sure, Jane.
And now this is the truth.
Okay.
And
As
this is
opposed
why
to
we
everything
love Megan. I swear to
Yes.
God, she's like our little sister or daughter or something. But we go out to dinner
Granddaughter,
after shows.
yes.
We actually didn't last weekend. Let's don't go into that whole thing.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
not.
what happened
As to
there?
what? No, we're not going to go there
We're not
because
gonna
she
go
just
there.
briefed us before the mics
Oh,
went on.
that was the guy.
That
No.
was the guy.
Well, Megan,
Can you bleep
be
this out?
disciplined. Be disciplined. Be disciplined. I'm not going to divulge that, but it's good. But
It's good stuff.
I tell you, it's one of the best stories I've heard in my freaking life.
My best friend Maria said the same thing.
Unbelievable. Go on Thursday
How
night.
do
We're not
these
going to go
things
into it.
No,
but
no,
it's
we can't because-
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you have your Megan, if you don't know, is 36? or so?
36, yep.
36. And is a very skilled professional woman.
I
got
am
a lot of degrees. And,
Twice as old as you?
Yes, you are.
huh, that's interesting.
Okay, so here's how it works. I was your age when you were born.
When I was born.
So it would be like someone coming up to me, hey, Jerry, your date was just born.
How is that even applicable?
I don't even know. That's so stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gene, what was your question?
But you have just a really interesting, full life, really busy professionally. But you go out, you date, and
Oh,
this and that.
I do.
And you're pretty experienced on the online dating.
On the online dating.
Oh, I was
Calm,
wondering
Jerry.
where that was going.
Right. No, and it probably isn't going anywhere because we can't talk about the best date,
We
which
can't
was
talk
like
about any of the
last
good
week.
stuff, so.
But anyway. But is everything going okay?
Yeah.
Life
everything's
good for
going
you?
good. Yeah, life is good. Me and the
Okay.
Christian mingle, we're doing great.
Christian
Just
Mingle is
finding-
her.
Yeah.
Finding those upstanding
That
Christian
is
boys.
definitely her go-to place.
What
Here-
about Farmer's Daughter?
Farmers
Yeah.
only,
Farmers
not
only.
farmer's daughter.
Farmer's daughter.
Totally different website. Totally different.
But it is, what is it?
Farmers only.
Farmers only.
Not
Oh, that's
farmers.
better.
Yeah. Farmers only.
Yeah,
You gotta
between
go.
Christian Mingle, J-Date, those are the ones I hit up most of the time.
Yeah. Hey, the other night, and I asked David Proust to bring it in electronically. There is a woman named Susie Sampson,
Oh,
and
that's
our
right.
regular listeners would know who she is, but just to give a real quick setup of this. So we met her, Jerry and I met her at the Democratic Convention. She's very conservative. She's from Florida. And she's kind of a person who looks around, keeps an eye on things for the conservative cause.
Right.
And a bit of a whistleblower. And so she has been listening to the podcast, and she called into our show, I guess, about a week ago and said, I'd like to be the one that helps you guys through the turbulent water
That's right.
of conservatism, because all those people are pissed off at you guys because you do this liberal podcast. I'm very careful not to talk liberal causes. Usually it's Jerry Springer.
You.
I try to be the one that finds the bridges
Yeah.
over troubled water.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
now
my.
Jerry, so we're a liberal podcast. Well, fact is, there has been a woman on our case almost from the beginning, Denise Compton. Remember,
Denise
Megan?
Compton, yep.
She came one night, sat right next to you, and did a show with us.
Yep.
Jerry Springer, always being the rogue and the Peck's bad boy, sent her first to Chicago to see his TV show. It's been in Stamford, Connecticut for years. She sent him to Asheville, North Carolina to sit in on the podcast. We're in Ludlow, Kentucky. And then she finally found us here, but she is on us, and she keeps saying, I will report you to Congress unless you start to get a little more objective in what you say. So now she thinks Susie Sampson is trying to push her aside.
Oh.
Cat fight.
It's like a conservative cat fight. It's like a culture kind of
It's
thing.
like
That's
the-
awesome.
Yeah, it's like those Republican debates all over again.
Yes. Listen to,
perfect.
I think she might be either stoned or drunk. And I mean, no offense to the conservative movement, because they don't do that. They're family
Who is it?
values
This is
people.
Denise.
This is Denise Compton.
Oh, my gosh.
Who late 2 nights ago left a message on our phone
Do we
machine.
have that?
We have it.
I gotta
David.
hear it, so what
Let's
makes you
hear
think
it.
that
Let's hear it. I want to hear that.
Denise Compton.
Hi, David, this is Denise Compton from Podcast Watch. And I have to tell you, I have a couple of things that I'm really not happy about. There are a couple of people that have been calling in and trying to talk to you and trying to take over my space. Specifically, this little woman named Sally Sampson or Sarah Simpson or whatever his name is. I just need to figure out what's going on here, because whatever I have been doing has been trying to help the rest of society, and you people on your liberal podcast are just coming out here and just throwing out whatever you damn well please onto the air, and I have to tell you, I am just not happy with this. And I have to tell you that little Miss Sally, what's her name, is just a Johnny-come-lately, and you motherfuckers on this show have no idea what's going on in the real world. So if she ever calls into your again, you can tell her I'll personally come down there, and you can just
Denise Compton.
A little fired up.
Who would have thought?
That she would use such language.
I think you're right. I think she's wasted.
She might be.
Yeah.
Might be. I'm going to make contact with her.
Well, if-
and
I mean,
Yeah,
she's
have her come
clearly
on.
upset, though,
Yeah,
honestly.
she's
Like,
upset.
I kind of feel bad.
Well, if
I
you're
don't
that
know.
right wing, you are wasted.
Yeah, no.
No,
live
no,
that
it's
way.
not. It's a point of view.
And there's an outside shot. We could even have maybe both of them on
Wouldn't
at
that
the
be
same
great?
time.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
I'd
might
like
be
to see
kind of
that.
Let them
interesting,
duke it
too.
out.
Ooh, oh, yeah. With
Not
wig-
like your show.
Let them wear wigs.
No. This is the podcast.
Hey, one last thing. I'm switching over to I think it's called the Academy of World Records. I'm making contact with a couple competitors of the Guinness Book. But it made me, and so I'm going to start conversations with them. I'm going to get somebody who will do the Unlimited Miles project. And if not, then I'll just ask you for some money and we'll start our own World Book of Records. But
It's
made me
another
think of something. I saw something the other day, actually I think this is a Guinness Book, where somebody was able to do or has the record for the most jokes that can be told in an hour. So somebody does joke, 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 laugh, laugh, laugh in 1 minute. And I was thinking a twist on that might be you could set the world record for on broadcast, in this case our podcast, for how many times you've told the same joke, the hearing aid joke.
I bet
Go
you
ahead,
could-
tell it again. Look, there's a fellow
Well,
out
it's
there.
not a joke. I was coming in just before we started. And where is that older gentleman with the hearing aid? Yeah.
Oh, he's sitting back there in the
Oh,
corner.
back
I see
there,
him.
yeah, and he's lovely man.
Yeah.
But he's telling me this is the finest hearing aid money can buy. I say, yeah, what kind is it? He said 4 o'clock.
See? You see?
Same people.
You've heard this joke before. All of you have heard this before.
Come on, people.
This should not
We could you could hold the world record for telling that lame-ass joke.
worst
more
joke
than
to be-
anybody else ever would.
Yeah.
No one would ever tell that joke.
Yeah.
Ever.
More than twice,
Yeah.
And
maybe.
this is, we're going on, what, 75
I
episodes?
think
So
75. Yeah. Hey, Jerry,
Yes.
it's awful.
you know, we're talking about, you hear the term lesser of two evils.
Ooh, yeah.
And you hear that sometimes applied to the upcoming election. And people will say, well, I'm voting for, I got to pick between the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
And they're referring to either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. What's your thought on all that?
Well, it's horrible. It really is horrible. And I think when we hear people say that, we have to start challenging them. I mean, to suggest, first of all, even if you didn't like Hillary Clinton, what in the world is evil about her? I mean, it's, you know, she's not a close personal friend like that, but I almost feel like it's offensive for someone to suggest that she's evil. Someone who has dedicated her whole life, yeah, that's true, has dedicated her whole life from school, whatever, to some kind of public service, to some kind of making the world better. You may not like all the programs she suggested or fought for, but evil? What in her life has she ever done that is evil? I mean, if we're all going to go and stand before God, I don't know many people in the world that are going to do better than she is in terms of just trying to be a good citizen, a good human being. And that is the truth. That's not partisan. That is true. I mean, all her years of public service, all her years with, you know, as a United States Senator, being the First Lady, and working on health care first, and then being Secretary of State, when has she ever stopped? And then the Clinton Global Initiative. How many of us have ever done anywhere near as much good as the Clinton Global Initiative? Forget the partisanship. Look up these various organizations that judge charities. One is called Charity Watch. These are nonpartisan. They have nothing to do with politics. If you get a call from some charity asking for a donation and you want to know how legit it is, you go to these agencies and they judge all of these charities. And one of the things they judge is the work they do, how much of what you contribute actually goes to help the people. The Clinton Global Initiative gets an A from every one of those organizations, and 87% of any dollar ever given donated to the Clinton Global Initiative goes to the actual recipients. 87%. There are very few charities in the world that have that kind of a positive record. And she's getting in trouble for that? What is evil about her? Look at all the people that have received help that overseas that have AIDS, that need clean water. I mean, we've been through all the work that this aid does. And it is so unfair, just because she happens to be running for political office, that we are now going to pick on this incredibly good, just work. And by the way, they're helping people all around the world. Many in Africa and in South America. You don't get any votes for that. There's nothing political about that. She's just doing it. And then, so where is the evil? Oh, she used a different server. Evil? And who's to say, by the way, I'm not so sure she was wrong in what she did. But forget that. Is that evil? She used a different server. She's been investigated by everyone in the world, every organization, every Senate or congressional committee. They're always going after her. Nothing. She's not evil at all. And so we're talking about the lesser of two evils? And when you talk about Donald Trump, his policies are evil. They're mean-spirited, hurtful, hateful, discriminatory, makes fun of disabled people, wants to deport 11 million Hispanics, ban Muslims, and apparently it's passed through the genes because now his son, you heard this thing with Skittles, has a bowl of Skittles, and if you and he does a tweet where he said if you knew that 3 of these Skittles would kill you, would you take some out of the bowl? As if he says this is the Syrian refugee problem. Comparing Syrian refugees to Skittles. If you use that example, what if I said, if you knew that 3 of these Skittles would kill you, but these Skittles weren't Syrian refugees, they were white Christians. Since, statistically speaking, more Americans get killed, robbed, whatever, by white Christians than ever by a Syrian refugee, he doesn't say that. This continuing, I'm telling you, we're 7 weeks, well, by the time you hear this podcast, for most people, which will be next week, it'll be only 6 weeks left. 6 weeks left to the election. We're in danger of having Donald Trump president of the United States. And what your future then is not only the end of the idea of America and all the discrimination and all the hurtful, hateful things he does, but also a real possibility of going to war. I mean, he says he's going to bomb the bleep shit, out of the Syrians, out of the Middle East, out of these Muslim countries. Wonderful. He says we're going to go into Iraq and take their oil. What kind of mind says, by the way, under what moral standard is it okay for us to go into Iraq and take their oil? It's theirs. Why? Why do we have the right to go and take it? And we're going to start a war over that? Are people aware of how dangerous this is? And those of us who see how bad he is, we say, well, it's a lesser of 2 evils. Stop it. There's nothing evil about Hillary Clinton. It's a positive. The worst thing you can say about her is that she was forgiving to her husband, that she has a high voice, that sometimes she's got wrinkles. I mean, good Lord, this is our country. We got to stop this negativity towards Hillary. And one more thing. No more free pass. And I'm saying this to young people, some of whom were for for Bernie Sanders. And some of them are just former Republican presidents, Colin Powell, all these people that are saying, well, I'm not going to vote for Trump, but I can't vote for Hillary, so I'll either not vote or I'll vote independent. I'll vote for the Gary Johnson. Yep. Okay? That is no longer an excuse. That is a cop-out. You are not going to get moral credits for saying, well, at least I didn't vote for Trump. Because I'm telling you, if you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, you are voting for Donald Trump. This is fact, not an opinion, not possibility. But the next president of the United States, barring death, will either be Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. That is a fact. There's no conceivable way one of those two doesn't get to be president of the United States next. So therefore, anything you do not to give Hillary Clinton a vote increases the chances of Donald Trump being president of the United States. So when Colin Powell says in his emails, and even publicly, that Donald Trump is a, quote, national disgrace, when he says he'd be an international pariah, when all these former Republican presidents and leaders and whatever saying they can't, the governor of Ohio, Kasich, can't vote for Trump, well, good. But if you don't vote for Hillary Clinton, you are improving the chances of Donald Trump being president of the United States. So no more free press. When your friends or family members say that, do not give them a free pass. They are putting America in danger. Donald Trump is dangerous. Not just a different political point of view, dangerous. That's what we got to do. Vote for Hillary.
Yep.
Hey, we're going to hear in a second from Dave Davies, accompanied, by the way, by Jeff and Misty from a group called the Newbees, and that's a real treat. Before we do, let me, and this is disconnected to what you were talking about, Jerry, but it's serious, and maybe you could work up some comments for a future podcast on this. But the Harvard School of Public Health, by the way, I'm proud to say my brother has his doctorate from that school, the School of Public Health at Harvard, along with my sister-in-law, Norma Kaplis. And they just put out a research that showed some surprising things about gun possession and gun purchases. And a couple bullets I just want to, no pun intended, a couple bullet points I want to throw out, and again, maybe we talk about this more in a future podcast. Did you know that the percentage of Americans who own guns today is actually less than it was a few years ago? It went from 24% to 22%, and that's based on population.
Right.
But here's what has happened. People who own guns are buying lots more guns. So the number of guns per household where there are guns, I happen to have 2 guns in my home. They're not for people, they're for when I go to Alaska and it's big animal protection. But the guns are going, people who are buying guns are buying more guns, not more people are buying guns. And I wanted to mention this because it really flies in the face of the propaganda that the NRA puts out, the National Rifle Association. That, boy, every time Obama talks about guns, he thinks he's, helping to control weapons, but all he's doing is making more people buy guns. The Harvard School of Public Health said that just isn't true. And they didn't do the study because they have a point of view or an angle. Yeah. They just did the study.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yep.
The percentage of households is actually slightly dropping, and I think our listeners would be interested to know that it's 22%.
Yeah.
So it's not half of America has guns. Yeah. And some of those are long guns, which would be rifles and shotguns.
That's a good
some
point.
of those
That's
are
a great
handguns.
point. Yeah.
So there are more handguns being sold. If you hear the NRA saying that, that would be true, but they are not guns going into the hands of new people nearly as much as they're going into the hands of just people who already have them. It was interesting. Megan, and we're going to ask the guys in the band come on up, and but as they are, Megan, I just looked over and I saw you're on your cell phone. Are you podcast dating? Are you speed? Are you on
Tinder?
Bumble? No.
I'm not on Tinder. No, I'm on Christian Mingle.
You are right now. You
Right
are
now.
interacting with somebody. No, serious question. Are
No,
you
for real. Yeah, absolutely. You said I could. You said I had free range.
You have free run.
You did, like 3 weeks ago. You gave me the free range. So
You're saying right now you are interacting with somebody that you did not know before.
correct.
Wow. And then
Mind
interesting.
blown.
Yeah, mind blown.
Power
Hey.
of technology.
I wonder if that could be a bit, as we say,
Yeah.
where someone you're interacting with, how could we turn this into something for the
I love how you
podcast?
can take my personal life. And
Oh,
every,
yeah,
You have to
yeah.
understand, every single time I tell Gene anything, he's like, we
can
gotta
turn that
use
into a-
that.
we can
gotta
use
use
it.
that.
We got to get one of these guys on the show.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I mean, why couldn't we do this like live on the podcast instead of you text? Because what you're doing is texting through the site,
Correct.
Christian Mingle or
Christian-
Farm Boy, whatever. it is
Farm
you're
boy.
on.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
I just thought of something unrelated to all this, but it just dawned on me. When this is heard, except for the people that are listening to us live, it'll be next Tuesday,
Right?
which will be a day after the first debate.
Correct?
So,
Oh, that's right.
right. So, when you if you're listening to us, then do not think that we aren't going to comment on that debate. It's that we're recording this before the actual debate. I will forecast, and then
Yeah, I
and
wanted
if-
to ask you that.
Yeah, and
What
if
do you
I'm
think?
wrong, we'll erase this.
Yeah, right.
Never happens.
No, I'll tell you, there's, all the pressure. I think all the pressure is on Hillary. Normally, in these presidential debates, you get two grown-ups, running for the office, and they're both obviously well-versed on the issues, so therefore the only debate is on political philosophy, which direction to go in, et cetera. And since they're both well-versed and they know every conceivable question that is going to be asked, and they've rehearsed their quips and their jokes and their one-liners and all of that, what happens is that, other than people watch to make sure that their candidate does really well and all of that, the only thing that the headline the next day invariably is someone who has a gaffe, someone that says something that, I remember, younger people won't remember, but back when President Ford was debating Jimmy Carter, and President Ford made some comment about Poland really wasn't under communism, and we kind of knew what he meant, that the people weren't going to accept it, but it was such a gaffe that really, from that day on, Ford never really caught up to Carter anymore.
And Romney talking about binders full of women.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
right. I forgot
Exactly.
about the binders.
Exactly. So everyone, that's a perfect example. So people are always looking for that one, or when Dukakis was running against the first George Bush,
Yep.
and Dukakis was asked the question, what if your wife had been raped?
Yep.
And he gave this, policy answer instead of saying, oh my God, I'd want to grab the guy by the throat and squeeze life out of him, et cetera. Even if you were against the death penalty,
Yep.
if it's someone in your own family, you're not responding rationally with policy. You're talking about what your feelings were, and that cost him. Here's what's different about the debate that, as you're listening to this, will have been last night, those that are not listening to it live. Trump is almost, it doesn't matter if he has a gaffe because he's had 1,000 of them and everyone is used to them. So it can't hurt him. The only one that could be hurt by a gaffe is really Hillary because everyone knows she knows more, she's smarter and all that kind of stuff. So really the only question is, please, Hillary, don't say something just, that's a gaffe. That's just stupid at the moment because that would cost her. It won't cost Trump, but it could cost Hillary. That's the pressure that, that she's under. So that'll be interesting to see if that happens. Having said all that, how you do in a debate has absolutely nothing to do with what kind of president you're going to be. Absolutely nothing. It's a test of a totally different skill.
Yeah.
When you're asked a question in a debate, you have 1.5 minutes to answer, without being able to talk to advisors, come up with a strategy, consider all the consequences, get all the information. And as a president, that's what you would have. There is no issue that a president ever has to come up with an answer in 1.5 minutes, even if missiles are coming over from what used to be the Soviet Union. You still had 15 minutes at worst, So the test of a debate, it has nothing to do with being president, but we live in this television society. And finally, I think my career is evidence of why I don't think I'm responsible for Donald Trump, but I do believe the parallel has some
considered.
and here's how. It's not what you think I'm going to say. When my show started 25 years ago, well, in the beginning it was a normal show, but then when we went crazy about 3 years in, it was huge news. I mean, they were senators standing on the steps of the Capitol blasting the show. It should be off television. I mean, it became a major, major issue. And now, 25 years later, show's still going strong, but you never hear anyone commenting anymore about how outraged they are. Basically, compared to most television, it's kind of tame. In other words, now it's just become part of the, I think, that's kind of what happened with Trump. In the beginning, he was so off the wall and so horrendous in the things he was saying that we were all shocked he can't ever be president. But we've become so immune to his idiocy and to his meanness that we're not shocked by. He says the most horrible, racist, unkind things, and everyone just keeps going on like nothing's bad. That's a real danger, and I was thinking about that today. I mean, you know, and hey, how did I get involved with Trump? But geez, I'm so sorry.
Really and truly, it all comes back to you,
So
Jerry.
sorry.
It's all your fault.
Okay.
All right, we're going to hear now some music, and let's give a round of applause to Dave Davies, accompanied by Jeff and Misty Perholtz, of a group called the Newbees.
All right.
And let's hear the first song, and we got a preview of it, and it's going to require a discussion afterwards.
So we're going to jump right into it. All right. Well, as you all know, the Jerry Springer Show is a twisted web of complex relationships. And that's what this song's all about.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
When she kicks my ass on Jerry Springer.
That's good.
Well, I was married to my cousin and her sister Sue. We've got 5 kids, but they look like you. My daddy's in a prison, my mama's in the tank, and Misty's down at folks' school, just a-snorting up some crank. Been on a phone call that I must tell you sadly. There's rumors going round that I could be her daddy. 'Cause when we get together, we'll have a short discussion. The only trouble is I'll get a slight concussion. 'Cause when we get together, we'll have a real humdinger. Oh, I wonder what's next. Oh, when she kicks my ass on Jerry Springer. Well, Jerry, I didn't mean to do it. But I have to tell you, I do have a secret. I married a midget last week, Jerry. And she ain't gonna be too happy about it either. Let me tell you, well, she pulled my hair and tore my shirt and then pulled up her mini skirt. I never seen such loving rage. I guess that's when I will cry backstage. Because when we get together, we'll have a short discussion. The only trouble is I'll get a slight concussion. 'Cause when we get together, we'll have a real humdinger. When she kicks my ass on Jerry Springer. When she kicks my ass on Jerry Springer. Whoa!
My mother would be so proud.
That's Dave Davies.
Sorry.
And Jeff and
We'll get you on
Misty
the show.
Perholtz, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Of the Newbees, backing up Dave. And you wrote that song.
Yes, I sure did.
And that song was submitted to a contest at the Jerry Springer TV show some years ago, was it not?
I think it
You
was.
think
but
it was?
never
I can't
happened.
understand it. We'll make sure it gets on there.
Well-
Do they still have the, because we ought to let people be able to get that recording. Do
Yeah,
they?
is that on a CD
Well, yeah,
that
it's
you
actually
have?
on Reverb Nation under the Southgate Boys.
Okay, so the group that you have performed with is the Southgate
Southgate
Boys.
Boys, yeah.
And then you guys are with the Newbees, and by the way, we're going to hear more from the Newbees next Wednesday night. Doing a couple
Correct.
podcasts
We ought to make it
next week.
available on our website.
Yeah, we met. I'll stay in touch, and we'll
Okay.
figure out how to
Yeah,
get
that's
some
cool.
That'd be
play
great.
for
That's
that.
fantastic.
Because it's very funny.
That really is
song.
fun.
It's got a good sound
That's
to
what I
it.
have to
That's
say.
it.
I'm just so proud.
The legacy, Jerry, the legacy.
Hey, do another song for us, would you?
Okay.
This one's on a similar note, right?
Well, this is a song for anybody that's interested in moonshine running. How many of you moonshine? Okay. Well, you
Well,
got to
we
drive
some-
fast. when
Definitely
the
got
cops
some
are
drinkers
after
out
you.
there.
You have to drive fast when the cops are after you, right?
Oh, moonshine. Hey, I once was driving down the road and I stuck my head out the window and I got arrested for mooning.
No.
Ouch!
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
All right, well, this song's
Where did
called
that-
90 Miles Per Hour.
Ready?
Here we go, Dave Davies.
I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. I said 90 miles an hour, cops are on my trail, and the cops are on my trail. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my back. I got another quarter mile until I jump the railroad track. I got trouble ahead, I don't need no more. Yeah, it's gonna fly like a UFO. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. Oh, hey. I got trouble ahead, I don't need no more. This cat is gonna fly like a UFO. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. Take it away, Tex. I got the pedal to the metal, got the hammer down. My tires squeal to the edge of town. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. I said 90 miles an hour and the cops are on my trail. All right.
That's Dave Davies and Jeff and Missy of the Newbees. And
guys are good.
yeah, you guys are really good.
Thank
Had
you.
some really good picking. We really
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
you
Thank you
coming
very
by.
much.
Have a good time. Jeff and Misty are the greatest.
And
They're the best.
you guys can be heard where? You already mentioned the record,
yeah, on
the
Reverb
Southgate
Nation.
Boys.
Reverb Nation, yeah. There's
Reverb
under
Nation.
the Southgate Boys. Is
Yep.
basically all of us doing open mic together. Just kept playing and playing and playing, and
Yep.
he's got a whole album of amazing stuff on Reverb Nation.
Oh, cool.
All
Just
right.
look it up as the Southgate Boys.
But if you like surf music, he also has
Oh,
a
yeah.
great surf band called the Amphibians.
Right. You
Amphibians,
like
yeah.
instrumental
Oh, that's cool.
adventures.
See, this is what's really
Dale.
interesting about this is that And the Newbees are going to be back next week.
Yes.
So that's Jeff and Misty. And all of you guys, and this is another example of with the surf band, and you guys do a cover band for the Beatles.
Yeah, right.
The people should understand this about the music business. Not that I know, I've never worked in it, but you guys really stretch to stay alive, to have fun,
Yeah.
to do this, to chase your passion.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got to be versatile. And your roots music style is perfect, but you guys can then jump over and do completely different styles.
That's the tri-state area for you. Right now, this is such a booming place.
It really
for
is.
Every
I mean, it's
style
almost
of
like a
music.
Nashville, mini
Yeah.
Nashville. It's not
Everywhere
at
you
that level,
go,
but-
you're going to find yourself a beautiful style of music in any form on any
Right.
given night here in the
So
Cincinnati
again, let's
area.
hear it for these guys. It's really cool. I wonder if you would take us out on Irene Goodnight,
yes.
an old roots
Oh,
song.
yes.
Jerry Springer, he fits this because he's equally versatile.
Speaking of versatility.
And he will jump in on the second verse, and it's gonna be unbelievable. You'll see.
Sounds good.
It's gonna be something.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife are all parted. I'm gonna take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream.
Versatile Jerry Springer.
Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream.
Now, good night, Irene. You sleep well, honey. You hear?
Y'all come back now. You guys are great. That was so enjoyable.
Thank you.